Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ridgetop Yoga Retreat. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Jeannine, and we'll be doing an hour class today. So just get into a comfortable seated position and we'll get started soon. Just begin to calm your mind and relax your body, bringing your focus to your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Excuse me. We are having our Wi-Fi, our internet connection being fixed today. So if there's any problem with the audio, please just send us a message and let us know. And just get into a comfortable seated position. And bring your shoulder blades forward, around, and back. And remember, this is your practice, so do what feels right for you today. If a pose doesn't feel right, just come out of the pose and wait for the next one. And just take this hour for yourself. Take a deep inhale in through your nose. And slowly exhale out through your nose. Take another deep inhale in through your nose. And slowly exhale out through your nose. On the inhale, take a deep inhale, filling your lungs up with air, and then exhale, slowly release. Exhaling out through your nose. And if you're just joining in, please just let us know if there's a problem with the video, with the audio. Like I said, we are getting our internet worked on today. So the weather's not real nice outside, so that seems to affect it also. So just let us know, send us a message if you can't hear us or you can't get the video. And we'll get started. We're going to start with our yogic breathing. So place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. And now on the inhale, we're going to do a 3 count in the belly, and your belly's going to go out. You're not bringing your belly in. So it's 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to breathe into our chest. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then on the exhale, we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to exhale on our chest. 6, 5, 4, and then belly, bringing it in. 3, 2, 1. It's really different from how we breathe normally. So your belly comes out, you're breathing into your belly to the count of 3, and your chest to the count of 4, and then exhaling the opposite way. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, chest, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, belly, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, belly, 1, 2, 3, chest, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chest, 6, 5, 4, belly, 3, 2, 1. One more inhale, belly, 1, 2, 3, chest, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, chest, 6, 5, 4, belly, 3, 2, 1. Then you can just rest your hands on your knees and just go back to your regular breathing. This really brings you inward, really focusing on your breath. Then take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead, reaching out through your fingertips, elongating the spine, pressing down through your sit bones. Really try to lengthen your spine here, lengthening the front of your torso, and then bring your hands and exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Slight bow to your head. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, you can do that now. Take this hour for yourself. Give yourself some gratitude for coming to your mat. Then inhale, slowly reach your arms up overhead. And exhale, release your hands back down by your side. And just bring your chin to your chest with your fingertips on the sides of the mat. And feel the stretch up the back of the neck. Then place your hands on your knees. And we're just going to inhale and draw a line with your nose up towards the sky, bringing your shoulders forward and back, and drawing a line up to the sky with your nose, almost like a seated cow pose. And then on the exhale, just draw a line with your nose down towards the mat, round your spine, and take that nose towards your belly button for cat. And just match your breath to your movement. Inhale, come forward. Draw a line up towards the sky with your nose. Your shoulder blades are back and down. Tilting your pelvis up. Excuse me. Excuse me. And just continue that. Inhale, take your gaze up. And on the exhale, round your spine and bring your nose towards your belly button. And then come back to neutral spine. And we're just going to bring our left ear towards left shoulder. Feel the stretch in the right side of the neck and bring your fingertips down to the side of the mat. Feeling this stretch, really try to lower that right shoulder down, reaching your fingertips towards the mat, that left ear towards left shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here. Then inhale back up to center. Bring your right hand onto your knee. Bring that right ear towards right shoulder. Bring your fingertips down to the mat. And feel the stretch in the left side of the neck. Then bring your head back to neutral. Bring both fingertips down to the mat. Bring your chin to chest on the exhale. On the inhale, just slowly roll your left ear towards left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, right ear, right shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Rotating left, center, right, center. Slow movement, inhaling and exhaling. And then on your next inhale, make a complete circle, inhaling on the way up and exhaling on the way down. And then we'll do 2 rounds in the opposite direction, inhaling up and exhaling down. And then we'll come back to neutral spine. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead, lengthening the spine. On the exhale, bring your right hand to left knee, left hand behind you, lengthening the spine. On the exhale, twist, looking over your left shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here, twisting from the rib cage. Then exhale, release the twist. Inhale, your arms back up to center. Lengthening the spine. On the exhale, bring that left hand to right knee, right hand behind your right glute. Take a deep inhale and exhale, twist, looking over your right shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, slowly release your hands back by your side. If you're sitting on a blanket or a block, you can take that out now. And just go into a wide-legged seated position. Bring the sole of that right foot into that left thigh. You're keeping that right hip open, and you can have a slight bend in that left knee. You're keeping that left foot flexed. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And on the exhale, bring that left hand down towards your ankle or your left foot. And bring that right arm over that right ear. And you're not turning towards that left leg. You're really keeping that right hip grounded. Reach through your fingertips of that right hand. Take a few deep breaths here. Then inhale, slowly come back up to center. And exhale, slowly release your hands back by your side. Extend that right leg out to the side. Bring the sole of that left foot in that right thigh. Keeping that left hip grounded, left sit bone grounded, and left hip open. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, bring that right hand down to that right ankle or right foot. You can have a slight bend in that elbow. And bring that left arm over that left ear, really reaching out through your fingertips, grounding down, keeping that left sit bone grounded. Take a few deep breaths here. Then slowly come back up to center. Release your arm back down to the mat. Extend your legs long out in front of you for staff pose, slight bend in the knees. Take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine, pull your belly button in. And on the exhale, just begin to walk your hands forward, hinging from your hips, keeping a flat back as long as you can. And when you can't go any further, take a deep inhale in. And on the exhale, begin to forward fold. Inhale, come up a little bit, and exhale. Breathe into that low back. Try to lengthen your spine here, really reaching out, and then just forward fold with your head. Try to relax your back, your low back. Then slowly walk your hands back to center. Bring the soles of your feet together for bound angle pose. So depending on your knees, whatever is comfortable. If it's hard on your knees, you can make like a diamond shape and have your feet further away from your body. Or if you can bring them in close to your body, that's great too. And then just roll out the arches of your feet and place your hands on your ankles or on your toes and just begin to butterfly your knees out to the sides. Feeling the inner thighs loosening up, getting movement into the hips. And make sure you're keeping a straight spine here. And then come to stillness. Place your hands on your ankles Take a deep inhale. Take your gaze up for a slight back bend. And then exhale. Begin to hinge from your hips to forward fold. So you're trying to keep lengthening your spine here, reaching out through the crown of your head. If you get halfway, stop there. Pull your belly button in and just try to lengthen that spine. And just take a few deep breaths here, engaging your core and trying to lengthen the spine. You'll feel the stretch in the inner thighs. Then slowly roll back up to center and bring your knees in. And we're going to go onto our hands and knees for tabletop. So if you need a blanket under your knees, you can do that now. And just make sure your shoulders are over your wrists and your hips are over your knees. Pressing the tops of your feet into the mat. We're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. So on the inhale, drop your belly, tilt your tailbone up, take your gaze up towards the sky. And on the exhale, tuck your chin towards your chest, round your spine, and pull your tailbone in towards the mat. Engage your core, try to create space between you and the mat. Inhale, drop your belly, take your gaze up. And on the exhale, tuck your chin and round your spine. Match your breath to your movement, inhaling and exhaling. And now we'll come back to neutral spine. And we're just going to extend that right foot back, going on to the ball of the foot. And just gently rock back and forth. Loosening up the calf, the ankle. Your toes are spread. Engage your core here, pulling your belly button in. And then come to stillness. And on the inhale, take a deep inhale and raise that left arm up towards the sky. You're creating a straight line from that right hand to the left, pushing through the ball of that foot. Then bring your hand back down to the mat, your knee back down, roll out that right wrist. And then inhale, extend that left foot back, going on to the ball of the foot. Pressing that right foot into the mat, gently just rock back and forth, loosening up the ankle, the calf, engage your core here. And then come to stillness and take a deep inhale, raise that right arm up towards the sky. Straight line from your left hand to your right, pressing the ball of that left foot into the mat. Engage your core. Really reach those fingertips up towards the sky. Then bring your hand back down to the mat, your knee back down, roll out that left wrist. And we're just going to take a few deep breaths in child's pose. So your big toes are overlapping, your knees are hip distance apart. Shift your hips back towards your heels and slowly lower your torso down towards the mat. Take a few deep breaths here. Now we're going to come up to our knees for gate pose. So we're going to come to our knees and extend that left foot out to the side. Your foot should be parallel with the back of the mat. Your hips are forward. You're pressing that right foot into the mat, the top of that right foot. Take a deep inhale. Reach your arms up overhead. And on the exhale, bring that left hand down to that left calf. Right hand over that right ear. Feel the stretch in that right hip. Take a few deep breaths here. Then inhale, bring your hands back up overhead. On the exhale, bring your right hand down to the mat. Or you can have a block, bring it down to a block if it's too hard to get down to the mat, or a book. And then bring that left arm over that left ear. You want a straight line from your fingertips of that left hand to your left foot that's on the mat. Pressing that right top of that right foot into the mat. Engage your core. Your shoulders are stacked over each other as if you're against the wall. Now from here, we're going to go into a dynamic movement. So you can stay right here, or if you want to go into the dynamic movement, raise that left leg up and left arm up towards the sky on the inhale. Exhale, bring the foot back down to the mat and that left hand over your left ear. Inhale, lift, and exhale, release. Match your breath to your movement, inhaling and exhaling. And then next time your foot's on the mat, leave it there. We're going to really press into that left foot. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And exhale, slowly release your hands by your side. So place your hands on your hips, bring that left knee in. Extend that right foot out to the side, parallel. Your foot's parallel with the front of the mat. Press the top of your foot, left foot into the mat. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead. On the exhale, bring that right hand down to that right calf. Left arm over that left ear. Feel the stretch in that left hip. Take a few deep breaths here. Make sure your shoulders are stacked over each other. You're not turning towards that leg. Take a deep inhale. Bring your arms back up overhead. On the exhale, bring that left hand down to the mat or to a book or to a block. Really reach out through that right hand. Feel the stretch in that right hip, lengthening, straight line from your right foot to your right arm, right fingertips. Our shoulders are stacked over each other. You can stay here, or if you want to add the dynamic movement, on the inhale, raise that right arm up towards the sky, raise that right foot up. And then exhale, release. Match your breath to your movement, inhaling. That foot is flexed when you have it out to the side. You're engaging your core to lift that foot. And then exhale, release. Next time your foot's on the mat, leave it there. And just engage your core, and we're going to inhale back up to center. And exhale, slowly release your hands back by your side. Bring that knee back in. And we're just going to take a few deep breaths in puppy pose. So for puppy pose, your hips stay over your knees. Your feet are pressed into the mat. Just bring your hands down to the mat. And walk your hands forward, bringing your chin and chest down to the mat, or just your chin, or just your forehead, whatever's comfortable for you. This is a great stretch for the shoulders and the back. And just take a few deep breaths here. You can have your forehead on the mat. If that's comfortable, try to bring your chin to the mat. But whatever's comfortable for you, just take that pose. And slowly walk your hands back for tabletop. And now we're going to get ready to go into our first downward facing dog. We're just going to do a movement. Flip your toes and just hover your knees over the mat about 6 inches. Engage your core here. Engage your thighs, strengthening your arms. And then bring your knees back to the mat, flip your toes, and just push back your hips towards your heels, almost as if you're going into child's pose. Push back into child's pose. And then come back up to tabletop, flip your toes, and hover your knees. Engage your core here, pull your belly button in, strengthening your arms here, strengthening your core, your thighs. Engage your thighs here. Then bring your knees back down to the mat, flip your toes, and just press your hips back towards your heels. Lengthen your spine, press into your palms of your hands. Come back into tabletop. And now we're going to go into our first downward facing dog. Flip your toes, hover your knees, and then slowly shift your hips back towards your heels and begin to straighten your legs. You can have a slight bend in your knees for the first downward facing dog. You can pedal out your feet. Go up on your toes. See if you can sink your heels down a little bit more. And now we're going to bend our knees. Go up on your toes and just shift those hips high and back and see if you can sink your heels a little bit more. One more time, bend your knees, go up on your toes and shift your hips up towards the sky and come down. See if you can sink those heels a little more. Slight bend in the knees, pressing the chest towards the thighs. And then inhale, look up between your hands. Go up on your toes and just take baby steps towards your hands into a forward fold. Have a slight bend in your knees. See if you can press your hips high, release that low back. Have a bend in your knees so you can get deeper into the fold. It'll release that tension in the low back. Then put a bend in the knees and take a deep inhale. Reach your arms up overhead and exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up and exhale, release. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana and mountain pose. So make sure your feet are hip distance apart, your weight's evenly distributed on both feet. Ground down through the soles of your feet, engage your legs, lift your kneecaps up, engage your core. Place your palms facing forward, roll those shoulder blades back and down. And just focus on your breath here, pressing down through the soles of your feet. We're working on core today, strengthening the core, which really helps with the low back and helps with any back pain. A strong core is really important. And also we're doing a few twists to help with digestion, helps with your internal organs, helps get things moving. If you have any problems with going to the bathroom or problems internal organs, the twists really help with that. Just take a few deep breaths here. Then we'll come to the front of our mat and take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Take your gaze up, your palms are facing each other. Take your gaze up for a slight back bend. And then turn your palms out and exhale, begin to forward fold. Take a few deep breaths here. Pull that belly button in. See if you can get a little bit deeper into the fold. And now inhale to a half lift, flat back. Press your hands into your thighs with your arms bent. If your arms are bent and they're on your thighs, your shoulder is level with your elbow. You're extending out through the crown of your head. Your gaze is slightly down. Take a few deep breaths here. Engage your core. Try to lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. Inhale, reach up, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. On the exhale, plant your hands and step that left foot back. So your right knee is stacked over that right ankle. Drop that back knee, flip your back toes. And then slowly come up, bring your hands to that right thigh. Make sure your hips are forward, pressing forward. You're not directly on that back knee. Your toes are pointed. If it's uncomfortable, you can put a blanket under that left knee. And then when you're ready, bring your arms to goalposts so your palms are facing forward. Really bring those shoulders back. Lift in the heart. Then engage the core. When you're ready, raise your arms up for low lunge. Take a few deep breaths here. Engaging that front leg, pressing the back foot into the mat. Then bring your hands to heart center. Bring that left hand down next to that right foot. Take a deep inhale, raise that right arm up towards the sky. Then bring that right hand back down to the mat. Flip your back toes, lift that back knee. Now you're in runner's lunge, pressing through that back foot. Now from here, we're going to bring our front foot back and go into downward facing dog, go into plank. So bring that right foot back and come into plank. Engage your core here. You can come to your knees and flip your toes, or you can hold plank. Make sure your shoulders are over your wrists. Strong arms, pull your belly button in. Strong plank, wherever you're at. Then with control, with your elbows by your side, bring your chin and chest down between your hands. Don't let your pelvis drop first, strong back. Flip your toes and come up for cobra. Your shoulder blades are back and down. Your gaze is straight ahead. Lifting the chest, lifting the heart. Be careful your low back and your toes are pointed back. Exhale down to the mat. Flip your toes and go back to downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here. Inhale, raise that left foot up and back for three-legged dog. You can put a bend in that knee and open up that hip. Coming to the side, stacking the hips over each other. And then come back, square the hips to the mat. Straighten that leg for three-legged dog, pressing your chest towards your thigh. Then bend the knee, bring it in towards your chest. Shift your weight forward and try to step that left foot between your hands. You can walk or step that left foot, however you get it there is fine. Slide that right foot back, drop the knee, flip the toes. Make sure your left knee, bring your hands to that left thigh. Make sure your left knee is stacked over that left ankle. Hips are pressed forward, and when you're ready, take a deep inhale, reach your arms up to goalpost, shoulder blades back and down. Take your gaze up for a slight back bend, and then raise your arms up to the sky for low lunge. Engaging your thighs here, engage your core. Your gaze is straight ahead. If you need a blanket under that back knee, you can put it there now. Just take a few deep breaths here. Then bring your hands to heart center. Bring that right hand down to the mat. And on the inhale, raise that left arm up to the sky. Pressing into the top of that back foot. Your gaze can be forward or up at that left hand. Then bring that left hand back down to the mat, framing that front foot. Flip your back toes, lift that back knee for runner's lunge. Now we're going to, you can either hop or step that front foot forward to go into inhale to a half lift. So step that back foot forward, inhale up to a half lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana and mountain pose, and then we're going to do one more round. Just focus on your breath, focus on your breathing. We'll come to the front of the mat. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step that right foot back, going on to the ball of the foot, and drop that back knee, flip your back toes, bring your hand to that left thigh. When you're ready, make sure your hips are forward, bring your arms to goalposts, slight gaze up for a back bend, and then raise your arms up towards the sky for low lunge. Take a few deep breaths here. Then bring your hands to heart center. Bring that right hand down to the mat next to that left foot. Inhale, raise that right arm up towards the sky. Take a few deep breaths here. Then bring that left hand back down to the mat. Flip your back toes. Lift that back knee. Step your front foot back into plank. Engage your core. Pull your belly button in. You can bring your knees to the mat and flip your toes if you want. Engaging your core. Then slowly, with control, bring your chin and chest down between your hands. Flip your toes and press up for cobra. Lifting the heart, shoulder blades are back and down, toes are pointing back. Exhale back down to the mat. Flip your toes, push back to downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here. Inhale, raise that right foot up and back for three-legged dog. You can bend your knee and open that hip up to the side. Take a few deep breaths here. Then come back, hips square to the mat. Raise that right leg up towards the sky for three-legged dog. Then bring that right knee in towards your chest. Shift forward and try to walk or step that right foot between your hands. Slide that back foot back. Flip your back toes, come to that back knee. Bring your hands to that right thigh. Bring your hips forward. Right knee stacked over right ankle. Bring your arms to goal pose, pressing those hips forward. Palms facing forward. And then when you're ready, raise your arms up for low lunge. Palms facing each other. Engage your core. Then bring your hands to heart center. Frame that front foot. Flip your back toes, lift that back knee. And you can either hop or step forward into a half lift. So inhale up to a half lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, release. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana and mountain pose. Now we're going to turn our toes towards the front of the mat. And your feet are as if they're on railroad tracks. So your right foot's out in front and your left foot's behind. And your toes are both facing the front of the mat. Make sure your torso is centered. Your weight's evenly distributed on both feet. We're going to go into pyramid pose. So just interlace your hands behind your back, pressing your hands down towards the mat. Shoulder blades are together. Pressing your shoulder blades as close as you can get them together. Your gaze is forward. If it's uncomfortable interlacing your hands, you can just place them on your low back. So take a deep inhale. Take your gaze up for a slight back bend. And on the exhale, just begin to hinge from your hips forward. Lengthening the spine. And then when you get halfway, stop. See if you can reach a little further forward. Pull your belly button in, engage your core. And then exhale, forward fold. Your weight's evenly distributed on both feet. Your hands, you can raise them up as you forward fold. You should feel this in the back of your legs. If you don't, you might have to widen your stance a bit. Or not widen, widen your stance a bit. Take a few deep breaths here. Then slowly roll back up to center. Bring your hands to your hips. And we're just going to step that left foot parallel with the back of the mat. We're going to go into Warrior Two. So turn your hips towards the long side of the mat. Make sure your right heel is in alignment with your left arch. And then put a bend in that front knee. Make sure you can see your big toe. And then just extend your arms out to the sides, making sure your back arm is level with your front arm. Shoulder blades are back and down. And then just take your gaze over your right hand. Engage your core here, pull your belly button in. You might have to widen your stance a bit, engaging that front thigh. Then when you're ready, flip that front palm up, drop your back arm, and raise that right arm up for reverse warrior. Keeping your hips still to the side, you'll feel a stretch in that right hip. Then come back to Warrior Two. And bring that right forearm to that right thigh and raise that left arm over that left ear. Engage your core here, really reach out through your fingertips, straight line from your left foot to your left fingertips. You're not leaning on that right arm, it's just hovering over that right thigh. And then come back to Warrior Two. And then just release your hands to your side. Straighten that right knee. Turn your feet towards the long side of the mat. And we're just going to interlace our fingers behind our back. Take a deep inhale, take your gaze up. On the exhale, hinge from your hips to forward fold. Pull your belly button in, engage your core, see if you can get deeper into the fold. Bring your hands down to the mat, walk them out in front of you a bit. Take a deep inhale, press into the palms of your hands and lift your head, lift your chest up, pressing away from the mat on the inhale. And then on the exhale, forward fold. Interlace your fingers or bring your hands to your hips and then just begin to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Then walk your feet in a bit and turn your toes towards the left. So your left foot's out in front, right foot's in the back. We're going to go into pyramid pose. Your feet are as if they're on railroad tracks. Make sure your torso is centered, your weight's evenly distributed on both feet. Interlace your fingers or place them on your low back. Take a deep inhale, raise your chest up towards the sky. On the exhale, just begin to hinge from your hips and stop halfway. Lengthen the spine, press those hands back, shoulders down, reaching out through the crown of your head. Engage your core. Take a deep inhale and exhale, forward fold. Take a few deep breaths here. Then inhale, slowly roll back up to center. Bring your hands to your hips. Step that right foot back parallel with the back of the mat. We're going to go into Warrior Two on the other side. Turn your hips towards the long side of the mat. Put a bend in that left knee. Might have to widen your stance a bit. Make sure your front heel is in alignment with your back arch. Extend your arms out to the side. Make sure your weight's evenly distributed. It should be on that back outer edge of that back foot and on that front leg. Warrior Two. Take a few deep breaths here. Take your gaze over your left hand. Make sure your arms are level, front arm and back arm. Engaging your core, shoulder blades back and down. Then flip your front palm, drop your back arm, and raise that left arm up towards the sky for reverse warrior. Take a few deep breaths here. Feel the stretch in that left hip. Then come back to warrior two. Then bring that left forearm over that left thigh. Bring that right arm over that right ear. Straight line from your right foot to your right fingertips, hovering that left arm. Engage your core. See if you can lengthen that right side of the body. Your shoulders are stacked over each other. Then come back to warrior two. And then just release your hands, straighten that front leg, and we're just going to walk our feet back. Take a few deep breaths in Tadasana and mountain pose. Now we're going to come down to the mat and just place your hands behind you. And your soles of your feet are flat on the mat, and we're just going to windshield wiper our legs from side to side. Now bring your legs to stillness. Your fingertips are facing your glutes, and you want to lean back to where your core is engaged here. And we're just going to go onto our toes, and we're going to alternate legs lifting, our right leg and left leg, engaging the core here, leaning back on our hands. Then bring your feet together and lift them both. Really lean back, counteract the legs, and lean back. And then bring them to the mat. And one more, lean back. And then bring them back down to the mat. Now put the soles of your feet on the mat. Lean back, engage your core. You might need a blanket under your tailbone if you can't get comfortable. And now we're just going to lift our hands. Our palms are facing the sides of our knees. You're engaging the core here. And squeeze those abs. And then bring your hands back down to the mat. Now we're going to go into boat pose. So we're going to, you're drawing energy down the center of your body. You're engaging your core to help you lift your legs, lift your arms. Everything's engaged, and you're drawing that energy through the center of your body all the way down to your feet. So to engage in boat pose, to start out, the easiest way is first extend your arms out in front of you and lean into that boat pose. And then when you're ready, if you want, you can add your feet. If you want to stay here, that's fine. Extend those legs out. Engage in your core. Engage in your legs here. And then bring it back all to the mat. You're really working the core. We're going to do one more. Take a deep cleansing breath in and out. And then extend your arms out in front of you. Reach out through your fingertips here. Strong arms. Engage your core and then lift those legs. Point the toes. And then bring everything back down to the mat. We're going to slowly roll onto our backs. Hug our knees into our chest. and rock from side to side. And now place your feet hip distance apart, flat on the mat. We're just going to counterbalance, counteract that boat pose. So we're going to go into bridge. You want your heels as close to your glutes as you can. See if you can feel them with your fingertips. Make sure your knees are forward and don't fall out to the sides of the mat. Tuck your shoulder blades under. Palms are flat on the mat next to you. On the inhale, begin to lift your hips up towards the sky, pressing into the soles of your feet. Pressing into those shoulder blades. Don't turn your head is forward. And really try to press those hips high. Squeeze your glutes. See if you can walk your feet in towards your shoulders a little more. You can go up on your toes. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Tuck those shoulder blades under a little more. And just breathe. Then release your hands, come back to the soles of your feet, and slowly lower back down to the mat. Hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Then when you're ready, extend your arms out to the side. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, begin to roll onto that left hip. Taking your gaze over to your right hand, keeping your shoulder blades flat on the mat. Then inhale back up to center and slowly roll to the right hip, onto the right hip, bringing your knees to the right side. Take your gaze over your left hand. Then slowly roll back up to center. Hug your knees into your chest. And just extend your legs up towards the sky for legs up the wall. Pressing through your heels. You can point and flex your feet. Then hug your knees into your chest and extend your legs long out on the mat. We'll get ready for Shavasana. So let your toes fall out to the corners of the mat. Bring your arms away from your body, palms facing forward. Gently close your eyes and just bring your focus to your breath. Breathing in and out through your nose. Feeling your belly rise and fall on the inhale and exhale. Relax your forehead, relax your eyes. Remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax your shoulders, your upper arms, your forearms, all the way to your fingertips. Relax your chest, your abdomen, your hips. Relax the front of your thighs, your knees, your shins. Relax your ankles, the tops of your feet, all the way to the tips of your toes. Relax the soles of your feet, the backs of your calves, the backs of your thighs. Relax your low back, mid back, and upper back. Relax the back of your shoulders, the back of your neck, all the way to the crown of your head. Continue your breath past the crown of your head, all the way past the tips of your toes. A continuous flow of air. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes and move your head from side to side. And when you're ready, roll on to your favorite side. Come up to seated position with your eyes closed, your hands at heart center, thumbs at your sternum, slight bow to your head. Yoga is a journey. Thank you for sharing your journey with me this morning. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you everybody for joining in the class today. If you can continue to send us a message if you're watching this live or the replay. If you have any ideas or questions about anything, please send us a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Have a great day. Namaste.